Hi, this is gonna actually be a shorter video than the last ones, and this is not so much about concepts. Actually, you can think about it as a concept, but it's more advice or some food for thoughts. And one of the quotes are, "The thread is stronger than the execution." And this is a famous chess quote from Aron Nimzowitsch, one of the greatest players. And the meaning by this quote is actually that by you just threatening to do something, you will actually be more effective than if you do it, because the enemy has to actually think about, oh, you can do so. In league terms, for example, if you are a Trash, Blitz, or Morgana, or Lux, if you just threaten, you zone them and threatening to land a hook or a bind or whatever, you can kill them or do a really good trade and you force them out, right? So by you just keeping your fucking hook or bind, you threatening to actually send it out and kill them in a lot of cases, and they have to be worried. So by just zoning them, trying to like pretending you're gonna hit the skill, throw the skill shot, the enemy support and AD carry has to be really careful, and often they have to give up more CS, especially in higher elo. And in lower elo, they will be impatient and just walk up, and then you hit your bind or hook and they die, right? So it really depends on elo. And I just wrote down the base Morg bind on Q, which is 10 seconds. I think it's a bit lower than like a blitz hook or a trash hook, if I'm not mistaken. And this is actually something that tilts the living shit out of me in all elos, but especially lower. But you see it even in challenger. There is a lot of supports that just throw their Q, in this case with Morgana, or get a hook, and they miss it. And basically, they can't even hit the fucking skill shot unless the enemy literally flash in it, because they take such a bad opportunity because they are not patient enough. And this tells me like fuck, because when you, as a Morgana for example, just throw your Q and miss it, you're literally as fucking useful as a cannon minion. Because 10 seconds you have to back off and they can start zoning you. You fuck over yourself, but you fuck over your AD carry, and then you have to back off and be really passive. But if you just kept your bind and threatening to hit your bind, you would actually be more effective than just throwing it randomly. And you can also see it, especially in lower elo. They will, for example, with Morg, throw their bind and it will hit, but it's like a max range Q, so the AD carry doesn't even have the opportunity to follow up. And then the Q hits, it's basically nullified because you can't follow up, and then you have to back up, and then you are really screwed in lane. that that thing brings me back to the next point. Patience is key, and patience is really key in solo queue, because it's not about how many plays you or the team can do that usually wins you the game. It's actually more about how the team who's doing less major mistakes will win the game, not the team that does a lot of good plays. Because in solo queue, people in all elos will be impatient. They will give you really good opportunities to actually fight. So they will be overzealous. They might trade in a lot of minions because you have been so patient, and you can punish them. So just by being patient, you will get a lot of better opportunities to hit your skill shots. For example, like a Morq, if you just are patient and using the theme about the thread is stronger than the execution, they will often move towards you, and the hit success of your binds will go exponentially up. And also, not only going up, but you're, because they're going towards you, the AD carry will also be in range of actually punish them if or when you hit your bind or hook. So just be more patient in your solo queue games, and you will win more games because you don't have to do any plays at all. Because it's another great quote from Napoleon that is, if the enemy has a bad plan, don't stop them. And in league terms, that will be if you are patient and just waiting, they will overforce something and you can punish them. So if they're trying to do something stupid, don't stop them. Let them do something stupid and then punish them. And this is gonna be another little rant because this is actually a decent player, like way higher that I coached than my target with these videos. And I remember when I coached him, he was so far ahead in mid lane, and he just he did stupid trades. He didn't think about the fucking enemy jungler, and he tried to turret dive. Instead of just playing really safe, do good trades because he was so far ahead, he would just crush him and then get him out of the enemy out of lane, or then do a trade and then wait, do another trade and kill him. But instead, he had to try to do something fancy ass shit, and he just traded kills or inted. So he was basically the guy who had like a fucking bazooka against a guy with his fist, and he's like, yeah, fuck, I'm gonna shoot my fucking bazooka in melee range 10 meter, and if I don't die, that's great, but who cares if I blow up, right? So be a little bit more smart about your advantage. Play it safe, play it properly. Don't be the guy with the bazooka shooting the other guy in melee range when you can actually do it properly. So maybe try to think about those quotes and get it into your gameplay. And I'm pretty sure if you get it consistently in your gameplay, you will win a lot of games and you will get a lot of LPs. So that was all.